So if you've discovered that you have mold, high DNA levels of mold, or you've grown out mold spores, or you have a mycotoxin test, or you just don't feel well and you're super suspicious, or you know for sure it has to do with mold or mycotoxins, what do you do next? Is there a chance that the microbiome of your home is making you sick? You've heard of your gut and its microbiome and how essential that is for your health. The thing is, we don't realize it, but our house has a microbiome too. Your apartment, your car, every environment has a microbiome. What's yours? Is it supporting you, or is it taking away your energy, making you exhausted, making you tired? The only way you're going to figure this out is if you do an assessment. You've got to test your home. If you're struggling with your energy, if you have brain fog, if you have allergies and headaches and joint pain, you might have something growing in your home like mold, or you may have remnants of mold called mycotoxins that are affecting your health. You can check out the other videos in this series to learn more about mycotoxins and mold and all of that. And I'm sharing with you my journey as I go through this myself because there's nothing like the present time to teach it when you're in it. That's all I can say. So the problem is that once you do step one of decode of the 5-step P2V system, and you decode or assess and you find out you've got a problem, what do? How do you start this calibration piece where you start poking around and trying something and seeing what the response is and seeing if you need to shift to something else or not? What's the next step? Once you know you have a problem, it's easy to get stuck in overwhelm and not do anything. You're afraid that nothing's ever going to get better and you get stuck. Check out the video on motion and clarity. Motion breeds clarity. Check out the video on that if you're one of those people that's getting risk at getting stuck before you do anything. This video is going to be all about remediation for your home and steps that you can take to make sure that you stay in motion so you can experience better health and more vitality. So there are 3 steps that you need to take care of your house. It's a 3-step plan. You need to remove the stuff that's the problem. You need to remediate everything. And then you need to retest. What does removal mean? Now, there's a lot of discussion out there on the internet about how much you need to remove if you have water damage or mold in your environment. Some people are in you've got to get rid of everything no matter what. Other people say you can keep some things. It depends. So where am I? Where do I stand personally? I don't have a black and white rule. If you've been following me this far, you understand that I'm really about offering tools so that you can figure out what works best for you. It depends on your situation. I would say that if you've been one of those unfortunate people that has experienced immense flooding in your home due to, something that broke, a water pipe broke, or crazy rainstorms or hurricanes, something nutty that out there in this universe that we're in right now, and you experienced extreme flooding in your home, and you've got mold growing up on the walls. I mean, we've all seen those pictures, post-hurricane house pictures. Honestly, there's no way I would get rid of everything. And I know it's hard. I had to get rid of just about everything I owned the first time I cleared out my house from mold, and it's hard. It's hard to get rid of your grandpa's game that you played with him. It's hard to get rid of the photos from your childhood. It's hard to get rid of your kids' art projects. But we took pictures of things, we scanned what we could, and we moved on. And that benefited us in the medium and long term. I often think that people can keep more than they realize if you remediate it properly and if your situation isn't that bad. So personally, I have been able to keep clothing because I wash my clothes with citrus oils and able to break down the mycotoxins, and they seem to be pretty clean afterwards, and they don't trigger me. So that's a way that you can keep your stuff. What do you need to get rid of, and what can you remediate? There's a big discussion in this out there in the literature as to whether you need to get rid of everything or if you can keep some stuff. So let's talk about that for just a second. My thoughts are that if you have had such an immense amount of water damage, that you have had water sitting in your house, like inches or feet of water sitting in your house, and you are unfortunate to experience a traumatic leakage of something or a big storm, I really think, unfortunately, you probably need to walk away from most of that. If there's big patches of mold growing on your walls, that's tough to remediate all of that. You definitely have to get professional help. And you probably need to get rid of everything just to start over. That would be my recommendation. And I understand it's hard. I get it's hard. I had to do this too, where I had to get rid of my grandpa's favorite game, Flinch, that we played together. I had to get rid of my artwork and photography from early on. I had to get rid of my kids' artwork. It's hard. But we took pictures of what we could and moved on and just embraced the change, embraced the opportunity to cleanse my space energetically and to create a new life. And there's an energy that you could choose to have to shift into this so that it can actually become a good thing. And it was nice to have less stuff, I have to admit. There are some other rules that you can follow if your water damage is not that severe. So in terms of removal, you need to remove everything that's rotten. So if you've got a house with rotten wood, you need to get that wood out of there. If you have cabinets and shelves that have been water damaged and have mold or mycotoxins, you need to get rid, you need to haul that stuff out. We just did this with my son's house where there was water damage in the house that he just purchased, and we just hauled out the old rotten wood and rotten cabinets that had been in the basement and just took them to the dump and move it out. You got to do that. So again, you might need some professional help for that. So get rid of whatever's actually moldy out. Hard surfaces, things like your dishes, your pots and pans, your walls, things like that. A lot of that stuff can be washed and what we call remediated. And you can do this through just, there's lots of different ways that have been studied. I've looked at research papers where they've talked about a 50% of ammonia and distilled water. Never mixed ammonia with bleach. Do not use tap water. There's too much bleach, It's better to use distilled water. So distilled water and ammonia 50% solution tends to really kill just about everything in the moldy world, but it's really stinky and kind of toxic for you, and you need to be careful that you do this only in a safe space. But that is an option for you to consider doing for your space, for things that you're trying to wash. Personally, what I did is we did a dip where we set up buckets, and we use the EC3 solution where it has citrus oils in it, and we created a solution where we could dip our things. And so like our backpacks and my jewelry and our bedding and things like that, we can dip things in there and then rinse them and leave them out to dry out in the sunshine, and that seems to work pretty well. You can wash your soft things with essential oils or with the EC3 solution or some other solution that's been tested to show that it actually breaks down mycotoxins and molds. And usually most people agree that you can save your clothing and your bedding and things that you can wash. Just heat, unfortunately, doesn't get rid of mycotoxins. You actually need to have something that breaks them down. And there are many, many, many essential oils that have been shown to break down mycotoxins in different ways. And again, the citrus oils are really beneficial for this, as is clove. I have a number of these by my washing machine, and I just put them into every single wash I do. And especially if we're doing a remediation, we put them in that. Oh my God, I'm being invaded. Why won't it ever go away? What's wrong with me and my body? Instead of that dialogue in the head, can you relate? Instead of that dialogue, switching it, doing a flip, where I flip to realizing like, wow, I get to reset the microbiome of my home. How cool is that? I mean, how